The Milford School Committee meeting for Thursday, November 6th, 2014. This meeting is being televised. There are members of the media present. If anybody would like a copy of the broadcast for this evening, please feel free to contact either myself or any other committee members. Go ahead and get ourselves started. So good evening, everyone. And first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. I trust all members have had an opportunity to review the minutes from our previous school committee meeting. So we will take a motion to approve. Motion from Dawn, second from Joe. All in favor? All opposed? Any recusals? Patrick? So we have 6 in favor, 1 recusal. Motion passes. Up next, we do have invitation to speak. Do we have anyone here for invitation to speak? We're seeing none. We will move on to our next agenda item. Up next, we do have our announcements and correspondence. Any members have any announcements or correspondence? Joe.
Yeah, and Scott and I were able to attend homecoming weekend, and I just wanted to take a minute and recognize everyone that was involved in putting that event together. It turned out to be a beautiful day and a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing that event continue to grow over the years and become a tradition here in Milford. So I hope I don't leave anyone out, but I wanted to recognize the homecoming committee, Amy and Paul Tamani, Joe and Wendy Arcudi, Mr. Zakili, Carla Tuttle, Katie Maloney, Laura Krovacek, and Ellen Meehan, and then give a special thanks to the kids of the National Honor Society and also the hospitality and tourism students who were actively involved in putting the event together.
Excellent. And it all came together with a win and a road into the playoffs for the Milford football program, which was fantastic. So congratulations to them. Yeah, it was a great weekend all the way around. So excellent. Thanks, Joe. Any other members have any announcements? Mr. Holland.
Please, Kevin, go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ken.
On November 1st, Dr. Bob Gilmore, the science teacher at Stacy Middle School, brought a group of students to the 7th Annual Blackstone Valley STEM Kids Conference at the Cummings School of Veterinary Medicine at Tufts University. And the students were able to attend workshops such as electrophysics of music, applying the engineering and design process, fundamentals of flight, exploring genetics and gene therapy, lung surgery with cameras and robotics. So it's kind of a diverse group of topics in the STEM area. The students had an amazing experience. The presentations and activities were very engaging. And I just want to thank Dr. Gilmore for organizing and chaperoning this event. And these are the type of events we want to continue in the future to give students these kind of opportunities.
Excellent. Thank you.
So I have two. The first is the Friends of the Milford Area Special Olympics held their dinner, FOMASA. They held their dinner last Saturday night. It was the most well-attended FOMASA event that I have seen to date. I've been going to them for quite a few years now. And it's wonderful to see everyone come out and support our Special Olympians. It's wonderful to see our Special Olympians have time to shine. It's also wonderful to know that one of our Special Olympians will be the first Special Olympian to have qualified and to run the Boston Marathon in 2015.
Oh, wow.
Which is it's for Jimmy, and it's a great thing for all of us. And it's a spectacular event, and I definitely encourage everyone to attend if possible in the future. Scott was there as well. My second piece is not quite as lighthearted, I'm afraid. I wasn't at our last meeting. I wanted to spare everyone. I believe I was experiencing norovirus, and I didn't want to spread that around the committee, so I stayed away. In watching and in catching up on what happened at the meeting, though, I certainly was concerned about the report of unaccompanied minors and their impact on our school district. I firmly believe that any student we have in our committee, we will educate. That's what we do in America. That's a very important thing. I'm also very concerned that given the strain that foreign language speakers already make on our budget, and given our limited budget, that when government at a higher level than the one that we control choose to send students that aren't from our community to be educated by us, I would hope that we can reach out to those legislators, and help find some funding, secure funding, so we can educate these children appropriately. And so I know Jen is going to give us a presentation in December, I think.
Next meeting, November 20th.
At our next meeting.
Correct.
And so it's my hope that someone can reach out to our legislators between now and then, and we can bring up this subject and speak about this subject, because again, with our limited resources and with the number of students that we have, I think it's only right that we get recognized for the fact that we will educate these students and we'll educate them well, but we need funding to do that. So it's important to me.
Excellent. Thank you, members? All right, I have a couple of things. First and foremost, there was an election on Tuesday, so I want to sort of do a couple of things. One, certainly want to thank Senator Moore for his years of service as he moves into the next phase of his life. Certainly want to congratulate Representative Fernandez on his successful reelection, and also welcome our new Senator-elect, Senator-elect Fatman, and congratulate him on his campaign and for his victory on Tuesday as well. Along those same lines, I have had an opportunity through events in the last couple of weeks to actually connect with both Representative Fernandez as well as now Senator-elect Fatman. They have both expressed interest and willingness to come and meet with this board to discuss what our concerns are and also what opportunities may be available. So I've had that opportunity. We will continue to go down that road. Our next presentation in November, at our next meeting from General Lancaster, will help to pave the road of what that will look like, and what we know sort of help to educate ourselves as a board. The next piece, a little more lighthearted, is certainly wanted to, as I said during our last meeting, give a shout out to our. We did a fundraiser through the town of through the schools here, where we were raising money for a family fund, which is really designed to help raise money within the schools, sort of as a private group here, to help support families that have experienced a catastrophic loss. Sort of where it came from was roughly 4 years ago. Roughly 2 years ago, we had approximately 4 families that experienced catastrophic loss through fire. One of our music educators, as well as a number of teachers, wish they could do more, and as a result, came the family fund. Last year, we had an opportunity to raise some funds through Karen Wilson, put this group together. It's one of our music teachers at Stacy Middle School, and she put this group together. There was a show that was put on here at the high school. If anything happened on the way to the forum, a number of teachers and administrators and folks throughout the school system participated, and we were able to start to raise some money. There was a second event, actually went in tandem with our hospitality program up at the DoubleTree, and there was actually an event done at the DoubleTree a week ago today, so it was actually last Thursday. It was very well attended. I think we had seating for about 300. We had roughly 300 people in attendance. It was extremely well attended. All the setup for the room, all the fixtures, all the sound and everything was actually done by our tourism. Travel and tourism program from the high school, right up at the DoubleTree. The DoubleTree actually donated the space, and we were able to raise some funds. I was alerted when I came in this evening that Milford TV actually put together a small highlight reel, and I will not take any credit for that at all. I'll actually put it directly back on this body, because I did ask the board in advance if they would like to show this, and they said yes. So it's on you guys for what we're going to go watch here. But what I would tell you is we have a phenomenally talented group of people that work in our schools, phenomenally talented. Unfortunately, we had it's not for a positive thing of why we're looking to raise some money, but wow, what a great group, a lot of fun, and the audience was into it, and I was very, very proud of this. So Milford TV did put together, I guess, a small sort of just summary of what happened, little highlights here. So I will turn it over to Milford TV here to let them play this.
The first I heard about this was actually over summer vacation from Jason McCord, who's at Middle School East and one of the performers here this evening. I happened to see him over the summertime, and he said, "Hey, we're getting together this cabaret thing. What do you think? Would you be interested in doing this?" So I said, absolutely. We'd started getting some emails. Believe it or not, the first idea of this actually came after the last show that happened in the spring. So it's sort of been in the works for the last couple of months, and really rehearsals were really just the last probably 8 weeks or so. All right. There we go. I see what you got. I got the horse right here. The name is Paul Revere. And here's a guy that says if the weather's clear, and Valentine, 'cause I'm born in line. This guy's got a figured at 5 to 9. Oh, there's half a tap, the wind by a half. This guy says a horse has a chance. For Paul Revere, all right. I think his foot's all right. This call everybody was really in charge of our own marketing here. This was definitely a grassroots event to try and bring everybody out. So, we have a lot of educators out there, so they talk to their classes, they talk to their students, they talk to their friends. We had a lot of teachers here tonight, administrators. We did radio ads as well. We did have some marketing and some flyers. And then we put some stuff on Milford TV. I gave a little shout out during the last school committee meeting as well.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn when we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them and we help them in return. It will make that we'll never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done you blame me for. But then again, we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sky, a wind off the like a stream that meets a boulder halfway to the pond. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. And because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
How long has the group been together?
There's sort of groups that have come and gone here, but it's really gone through, probably the last about a year or so that this kind of group has started doing this adult show with all the faculty and staff. One of the things that comes along with a group like this is everybody gets to be so close that, as we're doing songs, we're like, oh, and the next time we're going to try this. So if there's the energy there, and Karen is amazing. Karen Wilson just does such a great job of putting these together, and the talents of everybody. So I would certainly hope to see something more in the future.
Now it's kind of like the show's almost over, and, well, I'm kind of sad.
Well, tell you what, let's do one more.
Sounds good, Scott. What do you have in mind?
Well, since you're a little sad, try and cheer you up a little bit. And tell you what, let's look on the bright side of life. Some things in life are sad. They can really make you mad. Other things just make you swear and curse. When you're chewing on life's gristle, don't grumble, give a whistle. And this'll help things turn out for the best. Always look on the bright side of life. For life is quite absurd, and death's the final word. You must always face the curtain with a bow. Forget about your sin, give the audience a grin. Enjoy it, it's your last chance anyhow. Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life.
So,
Yeah, I'll tell ya.
You
So-
are too much, Scott.
as I said, the best part is the involvement. We had everything from first-year teachers to recently retired teachers that were in there. Some of you saw Dottie Moffett and some of the familiar faces in there. Her husband was a teacher in Milford for close to 40 years. She was also an educator here in town. So really a great event, able to raise a lot of money for a great cause. So certainly congratulations to the entire cast of that. So thank you. Milford CV.
Scott's also available for weddings and bar mitzvahs.
No weddings and bar mitzvahs, thank you. All
Scott,
right.
maybe you should tell people where they can donate if they're interested.
Yeah, so it's actually something that right now your best bet is to actually contact Karen Wilson through the Milford Public Schools. She'll be able to go through the best way to be able to donate into the family fund. This was a great event. The tickets were very reasonably priced. It was $10 in advance, $15 at the door. But Karen Wilson through the Milford Public Schools is actually, and you can find her email address right on the website. And contacting her through email is the best way to start to find out how we can start to raise some, if you are interested in donating more. Thanks, Tony. All right. That being said, we'll move on from announcements and correspondence, and we'll move into the report of the Assistant Superintendent for Business and Human Resources. Kathy.
Yes, I have for the committee's approval this evening 2 warrants. The first warrant is in the amount of $153,653.21.
All right, take a motion from Patrick, second from Jen. All in favor? 7 in favor. Motion passes.
The second warrant is in the amount of $19,974.57.
All right, take a motion from Joey, second from Mike. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. All in favor.
The committee also has a list of the latest appointments and hires from our previous meeting. We do have a professional development course reimbursement request in the amount of $13,711.
Okay, take a motion from Patrick, second from Joe. All in favor? Motion carries.
And I also wanted to let the committee know, as well as any parents that are watching, that we do have a Pay PM's initiative that we have gone live with this year. It is essentially expanding the school lunch online payment option via the web, via the Milford Schools website. And we have now built almost all areas of need for parents that they would need to pay, such as preschool tuition, nature's classroom, athletic fees. Everything is online now that you can pay. There is a slight fee for parents of 3.5% that would be charged to their debit or MasterCard. But it is an option now, so parents can access that. I think it makes it handy for them so that they don't have to send their students to school with money, and they can go right online and do that nice and easily. And the Washington, D.C. trip, hopefully, we will have up and live as a payment option, as well as future field trips.
Okay, great. Thank you,
Okay.
Kathy. Joe?
Just a quick question on that pay PAMs.
Sure.
And I can't remember which company it was, whether it's Visa or MasterCard, but there's one card there's one type that doesn't allow you to set up recurring.
Visa.
It's Visa. Would there be an update on that at all, or is that just a restriction that they have?
I believe it's the restriction on the Pay PM's company, so they must not have any kind of a relationship.
Oh, okay.
So maybe down the future, Joe, I can't speak to it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kathy, do we have
Yes.
any metrics on usage yet?
Well, that's why I'm here, kind of doing a little promotion and hopefully marketing it a little bit.
Yeah.
We have had some parents using it for athletic fees, and a couple for the nature's classroom, but I don't think parents are aware of it yet. So I'm trying to let them know that it is an option. It does 2 things. It keeps the cash out of the buildings, and it makes it easier to have statements and have the transactions done via the banks. And at the same time, it just makes it an easy access for parents, so.
How have we been broadcasting it?
Just through the website, so that's why I'm here tonight. The other option I thought of doing is maybe an alert now email bulletin to parents, just to let them know that it is an option that they could access.
wonder if that's probably something that we should include in the handbooks moving forward.
Very good point. Thank you, Patrick. Yep.
Most definitely. Great. And Kathy, is that it for you?
We do have two gifts.
I was gonna say, we got 2 gifts for us this evening. So the first one is for the music scene. It's for the purposes of the music department. It's a total gift of $400, which is fantastic. So we'll certainly say thank you to them.
It's very generous.
I'm sorry?
It's a very generous.
Very generous gift. Second one is Life Touch, and in the amount of $905.10. Another extremely generous gift. Those are our 2 gifts this evening. So we'll take a motion to accept the gifts from Mike, second from Patrick. All in favor? Motion carries. And then we'll definitely make sure we need to sign those, so we'll pass those along. If we can make sure that we also send thank you notes out to both of those groups as well. Then we'll move on to the report of the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment. Kevin.
All right, I have 3 items for the committee tonight. The first is an item which requires school committee approval, which is the agreement with the Bi-County Collaborative. And Mr. Chairman, I just asked for a vote on this agreement. This is an annual event.
Okay. So this is something, just as a quick reminder for the school board, for the school committee, we've actually received a couple of emails on this. This was actually delayed for the request of the Bi-County Collaborative as they were making some changes, and taking some potential changes and amendments to their bylaws, which ultimately did not, they've now gone through, they've sorted all those things out, they've approved their bylaws, and now they're just looking for our vote. So, that being said, take a motion for acceptance. Motion from Patrick, second from Dawn. All in favor? Unanimous in favor. Motion passes. So we'll take care of that. And still your show.
Still my show. Second item is, I just want to update the committee. We're actually forming a math vertical curriculum committee, and it will be meeting, our first meeting this year will take place in November. And the goal of this meeting, or the goal of this committee, is to ensure alignment of the curriculum to the Massachusetts state standards, K through 12, and kind of following a progression as well. In reviewing the progression of mathematics curriculum, instruction, and courses, reviewing materials, textbooks, software, and other tools used for the teaching of mathematics, and then discuss the vision of how mathematics connects to some of the STEM programming and initiatives that are taking place across the district. And this committee will include teachers, administrators, and curriculum team leaders. And I'll be updating you throughout the year on kind of progress and what we're looking at. Okay?
Kevin, so one thing that we've been dealing with here as a committee for quite some time, and has been a personal hot button for me, has been our math curriculum in the elementary school and the lower grades. I've made it very clear that I'm not a fan of the everyday math, and I have found out from speaking with teachers that the professional development required for everyday math to be effective is something that's very difficult for us to do. And so I know that this is something that we've spoken about in the past, and since you brought up the vertical alignment of the math curriculum, I think it might be a good time to address whether we're doing a good job with that professional development so our teachers feel comfortable teaching this everyday math curriculum and the spiraling, and whether we feel like that's something that should be reevaluated and addressed, or if we're comfortable where we are right now.
And that's absolutely one of the things we're looking at.
What about the professional development time? Has there been any?
Absolutely. It's all connected. It's
Okay.
the professional development piece, the curriculum, the actual instruction, additional tools that we're going to need to make sure that math instruction is effective K through 12.
Okay. I would love to get get an invite to that meeting. That'd be great.
Sure.
I'd appreciate it.
Thank you. Still you.
All right. And my final of the 3 is the committee last meeting asked if there was any data on the impact of high school extracurricular activities on the academic achievement of students. And in the committee packets, I've shared a document published by the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association entitled The Case for High School Activities. And I want to just highlight a few of the statistics outlined in the article. And the article actually, and it's available on the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association website as well. But there's a number of studies highlighted and a number of statistics cited. And I just want to highlight a few of those in the article just to share with the committee, but there's significantly more information within the article. First is students who participate in extracurricular activities have higher achievement in school and better attendance across the board. Students who spend no time in extracurricular activities are 49% more likely to use drugs and 37% more likely to become teen parents. Music students scored about 11% higher than non-music students on the SATs. Students who participate in the arts are 4 times more likely to be recognized for academic achievement. Students who participated in vigorous sports did approximately 10% better in core academic classes than peers who did not participate. And students who participate in sports are significantly less likely to drop out of school. And depending on the study, it could be 4 to 5 times less likely. The publication cites scores of studies that recognize and validate the positive impact participation in extracurricular activities has on a student's academic performance, attendance, self-esteem, and social connections. So the evidence is really overwhelming, and they probably cite 40 to 50 different studies within the article that you can either look at the summaries or actually access yourself. All right?
Thank you. Any members have any questions?
Thank you very
Okay.
much, Kevin.
Thanks for putting
You're
that
welcome.
together,
Thank
and
you.
Move on to the next item. So we'll go into subcommittee updates. Anything from the athletic subcommittee, either Joe or Don? Nope, okay. Policy subcommittee.
And our next meeting is Monday night.
Okay.
So we'll have more after that.
Perfect. Woodland School Building Project, Patrick.
So we meet, our full committee meets normally around the 15th or the 16th of the month. So we don't have any major updates right now. One small communication that we got from our general contractor was just about our remaining on budget, which we've been throughout the entire cycle. We haven't strayed, we haven't used up our contingency yet, so we are on path and we are moving forward and everything is just going swimmingly. So hopefully it all stays that way and we don't have any problems that pop up in the near future.
Thanks, Patrick. How about wellness?
Did not meet.
Have not met. Okay. Middle school reuse committee, we have not met since the last meeting. We're only meeting about approximately once a month right now. So our next meeting is actually scheduled for next Wednesday, so we'll have another update in the second meeting.
Scott, when do you expect to have that report done?
Which report?
Wasn't there a
would this be?
report that was being done to study the,
Yep, so the
the
first
state
step
of
was
the
just really to
building?
get the, so a couple weeks ago, we got the funding
Yeah.
approved from town meeting.
okay.
That was the first step.
Oh, right. yeah.
Now we gotta go out to bid. You
Oh,
gotta figure
so
out,
it'll be
so
a
there's 2 different
process.
groups, yeah,
Okay.
this is not a,
Okay.
yeah, and then once we get the bids, we pick the group. So there's a couple of different groups that do this type of a study.
Yeah.
Getting those groups to come in, give the bids, make sure we go to the right one based on what we're looking for. Then they'll do a comprehensive study. It's not an hour-long study. It's a fairly lengthy
Mhm.
one where they do, they're gonna evaluate the compliance of the building, what the electrical building looks, what the electrical
Yeah.
look like, what the actual facility could be used for, sort of a very, very miniature version of a feasibility study.
Mm,
Kind of the
okay.
best way that I've kind of been able to just kind of get my arms wrapped around and described it, so. And then, school readiness. I'm not sure what the school readiness subcommittee. I think that's part of the middle school east. I'm not sure what that one was that was added on there, so we'll move past that one.
Is it safety?
No,
School readiness may be the kind of preschool kindergarten program. That committee met at the beginning of, kind of the end of October, and they're talking about the new assessment, the teaching strategies goal, and they're also looking at just kindergarten numbers and preschool numbers.
okay.
If
I don't know
that's-
that,
if that's-
I don't-
if
yeah,
that's
I
what
don't
it's
remember,
referring to.
yeah, I don't remember that one being a subcommittee, so I'll have to ask, we'll have to ask Melissa about how that one got on there. But we'll move on from that one, cause, now let's go on to the next item, which is school committee liaison reports. Any updates from the schools?
I'm heading to Shining Star tomorrow for the council meeting and then a tour.
Okay, excellent,
I'll update in the next meeting.
great, thank you. Joe?
I attended Brookside's PTO meeting last night. Had a good discussion. One thing that they brought up, which I think we've talked about in the past, was the creation of a district-wide calendar. So maybe that's something we just rehash and circle back on, because that's something that would certainly help avoiding scheduling conflicts going forward.
It's just, so district-wide for all school events?
For all school events, fundraising activities, that type of thing.
Okay.
I know we have one today for athletics. You can
Mhm.
go onto the MIA website and you can see everything that's going on from athletic perspective, but I don't think we have anything for other events throughout the district.
You know, that I have noticed that it's difficult to toggle through all the different pages and all the different calendars to find out when events are going on. That's actually a great idea. Was that the product of one of the councils, or was that a particular person who's spearheading it, or?
Yeah, well, they had asked about it at the PTO last night. Last night was a great example where they had a PTO meeting, but the same night there was a vertical concert that was happening and chorus. So there's just a lot going on in the district, and
Sure.
oftentimes if you can see it laid out on a calendar, you can kind of schedule around it. So.
Right.
I had actually sent Bob a couple weeks ago this some information on, it's like a newsletter that goes out to parents every single week, and it's a software, and it updates everybody on the calendar, events, whether it's community, school, whatever it might be. And what's really cool is there's an app that you can download. Not only have access to that, but your child's portal. So it's a different portal than the one we're using. So I know the last time I talked to him, he was going to look into it, but it's night and day compared to what we have today. So hopefully, maybe that's something we can incorporate into that.
Great. Kathy, can we talk to our technology director about just connecting with Bob on and seeing what that would look like, and how we can start to make that be a little bit more user friendly for our students as well as for our parents.
The app is nice.
And then
Yeah.
talking
Oh,
about
you
the
saw
app
it?
too.
Yeah. No,
So.
it's nice feature, sure.
And our technology director, isn't he
He was
coming
scheduled to
here
come on
next
November
meeting?
20th.
Right.
So he's real.
Yeah, he exists.
He is real.
He's
He is.
real.
He does exist. He's not a phantom. No, he'll be actually be at our next meeting. So. Yes. Any other updates?
I
Yeah.
attended the Memorial PTO meeting last night as well. They must have them on the same nights. And it was probably one of the most efficiently run, well-attended PTO meetings I've ever encountered. They did a great job. Parents got right to work. They had a lot of projects they were working on, and it was just very impressive. They did a great job.
Great. Anyone else? Okay. We'll move on to future agenda items. So we talked about a couple already. Obviously, November 20th is when we're expecting Jen Lancaster, just as a reminder to the board. That's when she'll be giving us an update on some of the requests and conversations from the last meeting, as well as earlier tonight. Any other future agenda items proposed by committee members? And just we talked about the technology director will be at our next meeting as well.
We haven't had an update from Rob Quinn about our facilities and what projects we're working on, and we're updating now to avoid having to go to town meeting for capital improvements. And he's been doing a fantastic job of making sure that we're staying current with those. There were a couple of projects that have happened. You know, I do know that we divided in half the boys' locker room, and so I'd just like to know a little bit more about some of those projects, why we're doing them, and what's scheduled. And not to put Rob on the spot, but because he does a good job, and he should have an opportunity to highlight the things that he does for our district.
Okay. So for a future meeting, we'll certainly check Rob's availability. The 20th is packing up pretty quickly, so
Yeah.
we do that first meeting in December.
I don't think it needs to be immediate, but I think it needs
Yep.
to. It would be good if we did it, you know, soon.
I have that note. If you can,
Yep.
you're filling in as secretary this evening, right?
Absolutely, I've got it,
Excellent.
I've
All
got
right,
it
good.
down.
You know,
Donnie.
and to your point, Pat, and for those of you who haven't seen it, Rob comes in here with a spreadsheet, and he has every single project laid out, when it needs to be done, how it's going to be rolled out. It's tremendous. What I'd like to see us do is kind of take what he does and duplicate that for the budget process. And I know I've mentioned this before, but give the CTLs a chance to let us know what's on their wish list, and see if they can't each provide us with a spreadsheet of things that they think need to be addressed as part of the budget conversations. I'll give you a great example, a couple examples. You know, every time you go down to Woodland, they'll talk to you about the mats being 30 years old, and it's just one of those things that we always brush aside because it's how urgent is it, but it's just a matter of time before somebody gets hurt or whatever, and not, you know. But if it's something like that we can add as something and address it with the budget, and we have the opportunity to talk about that, because the budget meetings usually are, here are the main things, you know, it's about how many teachers and everything else, and we always kind of overlook those things, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to bring that up. And who better than the CTLs who live it every day? Another thing would be, you know, in the gym, down in Woodland. Last time I went there, there was a great event on the wall in the gym that's like crushed. It's just pushed in. And it looks like it was banged out and just placed there. But I've been told it's been like that for years. So things like that, if unless you're out in the schools or you're doing these tours and you're getting to hear, a lot of times these things don't surface. So what I'd love to do is have the CTLs bring up a wish list that we can also take into the budget conversations, and because that's coming up. So it would be a nice.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point, because I think a lot of the times the budget requests that we see are filtered through the principals, which is important, and we want them doing that role, we want them in that task, but it's sort of nice to see the unfiltered wish list.
Yeah.
I think that could help us make some of our decisions. I mean, especially since we made a commitment when the finance committee supported us for the new school building, that we're gonna find ways to fund more things out of our budget. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Not promising we're gonna fix everything all at once,
Right.
but it would be nice to know
Be
if
aware
there are
of-
urgent
Yeah.
needs and stuff like that, or something that they feel is important, that it's brought to our attention.
I think similarly, it would be great to have an update from the math work that you're doing, Kevin, and hearing kind of what you were talking about, Patrick, and not knowing everyday math and where the district is with that and with its effectiveness at this point. It would be great, because that could have financial implications too. If your vertical discussions, depending on what comes out from the teachers and what your data's showing, it would be great to hear what's coming out of those conversations.
No, absolutely, and I plan to give the committee
That would
kind of
be
updates
great.
throughout the year. But
Can I add one more thing too regarding the IT director, if he's gonna come in here the next meeting? Can we get an update on Lobby Guard?
Oh, sure.
Cause that system has clearly been broken for a long time, and it's very aggravating for them.
And just for the benefit, and just to clarify, by lobby guard, you don't mean the individual that's there, you mean the actual computer system lobby guard.
Yeah, the system.
Thank you. That's why I just wanted to make sure we clarify for anybody that's watching. It's not a person, it's a system, it's a computer
Yeah.
system.
But it's something that, is long overdue for an overhaul, so.
What do you mean by when you say it's broken? Is it physically broken, or are you saying you don't think it's effective?
Sometimes it doesn't work. In some of the schools, it doesn't work, or it doesn't work all the time. It's always going down. Sometimes the information that they come back with it's very frustrating. And Mike and I have heard it from every one of the
For a long time.
secretaries.
It's old.
Yeah, it's old. And we've always been told that they're gonna look into additional, options. And I've never heard of one, so I'd really like to get an update on that.
Well, I can speak to the fact that the lobby guard is under review, Don, more than likely from the security meetings. But at this point, when we brought in lobby guard, we didn't have the guards in the lobby. So now that we have a physical presence in every single one of the schools, we are looking at what is the value and how much do we want to invest in the lobby guard, whether we want to replace it. Because at this point, we have actual bodies in every one of the doors of the schools. So I agree with you. I think it might have outlived its usefulness. So I don't know. Mr. Tremblay is going to make a recommendation whether or not he would like to replace or just remove.
Kathy, because I've not noticed that, so what do we have at the doors? I would love to know what that is. There's
The
a
lobby
person in every
guard,
single building?
there is
now?
a secretary, every secretary is set up at the entrance of each school,
Yeah.
and all the other doors are locked. So you are forced to go through the secretary with
Yeah.
the buzzer system,
Yeah.
and then you're held in a vestibule. So right now, the only building that doesn't have a working vestibule that has a secretary is Woodland. So that's going to be, as Patrick can speak to, addressed in the new building.
It's already being addressed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a set of double doors, and even if they're
Yes.
buzzed in, they have to
Mhm.
get buzzed in. Okay.
To go through the next
Okay.
set of doors.
Oh, that's great.
Shining Star doesn't have it either, right?
No, Shining Star is another, the Family Resource Center is there, and their cameras don't work as well, so that's another issue that is ongoing, how we could build something right there and put a person there.
But also,
They don't have a lobby guard either, though, but,
Kathy, we also had conversation about it, Stacy, where they built the vestibule, the lobby guard is on the inside
exactly.
of the vestibule, so what happens is we bring the person into a holding area, secretary will look, if they know them, let them, and they're in the school before they get to the lobby guard. If we determine that we're gonna keep the lobby guard, we've gotta find a way to bring the lobby guard from the school back into the vestibule so that you're swiping in that area, and if it goes off, you're in a secured area. But again, you know, to Dr. Tremblay, you know, they wanna figure out if they're worth, cause, you know, Patrick, if they're up and down, you know, one day they're working, Donnie, the next day they're not, so what is the cost going to be to get them working the way they're supposed to be?
And there may be some low-cost solutions, or low-tech solutions we're looking at as well.
Right.
Okay. So we'll make sure that when our technology director comes next meeting in a couple weeks here, we address that, okay? Great. Any other members? Okay. Any old business? Okay. And the only thing I would have under old business, and it's just, again, as it sort of relates to some of the things that we talked about earlier, one of the things that was brought to my attention from a parent, I got some phone calls about this after our last meeting, was just about some of the health concerns, where we've got, with regards to some of our unaccompanied minors that may be coming in. Some parents had contacted me asking about if there were any potential health concerns. I did have an opportunity to speak with Kathy, who worked with Judy Dagnes, and thank you to Judy. All students who enter into the Milford Public Schools, regardless of where they were before or anything else, have passed and meet the exact same medical standards, including inoculations and everything else. So there's no potential there. That's all been addressed. In order to be in our schools, every child from anywhere has to meet the same requirements. So I did want to make sure that I stated that publicly as a sort of a response to some of the questions that I got from the last meeting. All right. Other than that, we will move on to adjournment. We do have an executive session tonight. We will take roll call, but we'll first move on to if we can take a motion for adjournment. Motion from Mike, second from Patrick. All in favor? We will not be returning. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.